Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. We do have to get to the tweets at some point. Alright, starting off with Chuckles. Charlie Kirk.
Oh boy.
This is the one that you sent me. This looks like it was a
Not even a tweet.
YouTube
I took that from his YouTube channel.
Yeah. What's funny about this is you sent it to me and I saved it. Now, I always title on like first name and then a number so that if I save multiples from the same one, it goes in order or whatever. So I saved this one as Chuckles1. I was like, what are the odds that I'm going to come across another Charlie Kirk one? You probably don't need the one. Whatever. I'm going to leave the one there. And then immediately I saw a tweet of his that I pulled. So there are two Chuckles today. But he says the real scandal would have been if we discovered J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, etc. were saying one thing to voters in public while completely contradicting themselves in private. Instead,
you
we
mean
have
that
clear...
thing that happened?
That is what happened. But he says instead we have clear symmetry and consistency of messaging and ideology. We know these men actually believe what they're saying in public. So I feel so like, yeah, there's that whole J.D. Vance. Excuse me. There's that whole J.D. Vance was disagreeing with Trump.
Think of the posture check. Ow.
So yeah, there was that whole thing where like J.D. Vance was disagreeing with the president about the attack or whatever, but was like going to be playing along publicly for the sake of appearing unified. So like that is what happened. So like him saying that like, oh no, we're like everybody says the things that they believe publicly as well as privately. That's just gaslighting and a lie. But I feel like he's kind of telling on himself here with this. Is like, if our direct message is leaked, my concern would not be to prove that I say the same things in private as I do in public. Like that, I'm not going to be like, oh well, you know what? Yeah,
I'm not super concerned about my DMs going away.
Yeah, like. Okay, let's make it more like if we were in like some top level government position and we did something on a messaging app that shouldn't have, and then that leaked, I would be more concerned about like, okay, how did the leak happen? How do we stop it from happening in the future? What information leaked? What other potential leaks are there that are like sensitive information that shouldn't be public? I would not then be like, last thing on my mind would be like, oh, do I say the same thing? Like, do I espouse the same positions privately as publicly? But maybe that's just because I'm such a bad liar that like I can't pretend to hold positions that I don't.
It's way more convenient to just not lie. Like when you lie, you're not just saying it the one time. You're having to remember to say it consistently every time over and over again, to the point where if I forgot the words I said, even if I like completely meant them when I said them, I worry that I might look like a liar if I say something that goes against them afterwards, merely because I forgot the way I worded them earlier. Like, it's easier to not have to keep up with shit in general.
Yeah. So like that's what stood out to me about this is like it's not like, for him it's not about the security breach and the fact that like this is Clinton's emails on steroids. It's not about that. It's about, oh, but they aren't lying about the things that they believe. Like, okay, who fucking cares? We all know that they're deplorable people who believe deplorable things. But if their DMs leak, there would be so much porn. I assume you're talking about our DMs? There's surprisingly little porn in our DMs.
Most of the porn you're going to find in our DMs is actually just in my Discord server. Like, you can just go there and it'll be there instead.
Yeah, it's mostly like fan art that has been done of us that Suris shares with me. And part of that is like direct message decorum. I don't send naked pictures to people unless I know for a fact that they want them.
Yep.
And Suris knows that if you guys draw naked pictures of us, I want them.
So I actually had a friend a few years ago. I still have the friend now, but when our friendship began, I heard from another friend that their opinion was that I said one thing in my videos about politics on my channel, and then I would not really believe those things. And then I started hanging out with a friend who said that more, and they ended up walking back on that when they were like, oh, actually, no, he's not just calling himself a socialist.
So if anything, I have found that you are like okay, I'm sorry, I don't actually watch much of your other content.
That's entirely fair.
But I have found that, at least for the watering hole, you are much more reserved when you've got the public eye on you than you are in the DMs.
I tend to be a little more verbose,
so it's like
in the DMs than how I like. It's the same opinion.
I don't know if I'd say
just
verbose.
They're louder.
Yeah, it's the same opinion, but you don't have to say things like you don't have to dance around the things that could get both of our channels taken down.
I don't have to dance around what I would like to happen to Charlie Kirk in the next 24 hours. Like that. Yeah. That's how that. Like, I don't
have
like
to pretend
him.
like we're thinking a meteor is going to hit the White House.
Yeah, it's a very different. It's a different vibe while still being the same.
It's like everybody knows you hold those opinions, but you don't have to worry about your livelihood going away if you say them there.
So I was playing Monster Hunter on stream with a couple of my IRL friends, and somebody in chat mentioned, I forget what it was, but I remember my friend Biminum's response to it was just reading the person's thing in chat and just went, "Do you think this guy shuts up about politics when he's around us?" No. And I'm just like, I didn't realize I talked about it that much outside of work, but I guess so.
I mean, what else do you talk about nowadays?
I mean, we got.
I can tell you how annoying my kids
dragons.
are being. You want to hear about that?
We have Mitsuzune coming out in Monster Hunter Wild soon, and it's one of my favorite monsters, and I need to 3D print a new one. I'm happy I get to kill it again. That makes me excited.
I haven't set my 3D printer up since we moved, and it's partially that I don't have a great spot for it, but it's also partially because I have the bamboo, and they've had their whole firmware thing where, like, if you update the firmware, then suddenly you're locked into their shit forever. And if you don't update the firmware, they're like...
It stops working?
Well, there are workarounds that you can do to get it working again, but then, like, you can never update your software on your computer again. You'll always have to either use an old version of Bamboo Studio, or you have to use one of the other... Like, that's one of the things that they're locking out, is you can't access it using other open source slicers, like Orca Slicer or whatever. But if you want to use Orca Slicer, you can stay on, like, you can on the old firmware, but if you accidentally upload it, it's like, it's a whole thing, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I don't want to deal with that. And there's part of me that's just like, I don't care if the Chinese government knows what I'm printing, so I will just update it. But at the same time,
print nothing but penises.
I have a penis T-Rex that I printed.
Yeah, but print more of them. That said, this is a very good time.
So here we go. Sombretta says, "Dear Lord Vice Rhino of Bamboo is worse." So here's the thing. I like 3D printing for 3D printing. I do not like 3D printing for fidgeting with things, or for tinkering with your printer. And when I bought the Bamboo, the reason I bought the Bamboo is because it was a 3D printer that it just comes, and everything is automatic. All the bed leveling and all that shit is completely automatic, and it just works. And before I had that, I had the Prusa Mark III.
Mm-hmm.
And between the two, like, Mark III, great printer, fantastic printer. But I've had to tinker with the Bamboo a lot less than I did with the Mark III. And so, like, if you like actually printing things, it's... Now, I know that other companies, like, I think Crealty has one now that is very close to being pretty much the same experience. Mm-hmm. And, like, yeah, if it was available when I was... looking into a 3D printer when I bought the Bamboo, then I probably would have gotten that one, but it wasn't. So I got the Bamboo.
I can say from experience, going from Crealty's Ender series, going to my Flash Forge, the lack of maintenance is the only reason that I do 3D print at all. And from a consumer grade 3D printer perspective, it is a very commonly held understanding that Bamboo is best in class for consumer grade 3D printers, period, and has been since they released their recent models like 2 years ago. Like, they usurped most of the industry. The reason that they are fighting to have
came out with a
proprietary
new one
software
that I kind of want, where it's now a combination 3D printer and laser cutter.
Now, like, I don't have a Bamboo 3D printer, but my current 3D printer is based off of the Bamboo software and hardware. And I'm going to be honest, any opinion that's like, hey, this thing is the worst, it's you are in the minority. I promise you.
I think when they're saying Bamboo is the worst, they're meaning like the way the company is behaving.
The company,
which
I can agree with.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I could argue that maybe they're not the worst, like if you're comparing them to Tesla. Like,
in the realms of like consumer grade 3D printers.
Yeah, it's not open source friendly. And that's been a criticism against them for like long before their update issue. Like people have been warning, oh, you buy a Bamboo, you're locked into their ecosystem, and like, yeah, they're allowing Orca Slicer now, but they could turn that off in the future, and then they did. So it's like, yeah, no, I get it.
Sombrina says it doesn't help if best in class is garbage class. Okay, so you understand those words don't mean anything, right? Like, if it the way that this conversation has gone,
so here's the thing. Like, I still have the Prusa. It is still a good printer. Yeah. The Bamboo is a better printer that is easier to print with. If the only thing you care about is printing things, and you don't care about open source, you don't care about security, because that's another concern with it, because like we don't actually know how secure it is. But like, if you don't care about that stuff, you just want to print your trinkets, then it actually is a really, really good printer.
And that's the experience I've had with the FlashForge as well. Like, when you say a statement like it doesn't help that best in class is garbage class, that's a way not to have a good conversation, but to simply shut down conversation.
Well, like, and again, like, if you're talking about the company behavior, yes,
we can agree.
I can say it's in garbage class. If you're talking about quality of a machine, the Bamboos are actually really good.
I'd say that there really aren't that many.
I get it. It's you're okay to have these strong opinions. I get it. Like I said, there's a reason I haven't turned mine back on since I moved, which was like 2 months ago. And I love 3D printing stuff. I love it. But I haven't turned it on because I'm not sure what to do here. Because I don't like how the company is behaving. I get that. So like, I'm not disagreeing with you with that, but it is objectively a good 3D printer as far as the hardware, like the machine itself is a good machine.
Yep. Also, in terms of MakerBot versus Bamboo, for the last year, most of the conversations have been people moving from the MakerBot ecosystem to the Bamboo ecosystem and saying that the Bamboo ecosystem is better in general.
I've never used MakerBot stuff, so I couldn't. I'm not going to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I personally have not used one, but because of my tendency to hyperfixate on things, when I did get my FlashForge and I started like researching a bunch of researching all the different filaments, all the different brands, all the everything, the commonality was MakerBot users, Creality users, everybody moving over to Bamboo.
So Hackaday posted a software fix for the Force ecosystem. Is that the one where you have to disconnect it from Wi-Fi and you can never update it again? Because that's the thing. One of the things I liked about it was the fact that I can just hit print from my computer and it prints. I don't have to fidget with the little mini SD card things.
But that all said, my opinion is not a stupidly strong opinion held, by me. Mine is me going over the information that I know of from the community at large. And so, just in general, your opinion is one I've heard that is unique amongst that particular ecosystem.
Well, apparently the Hackaday one's new, so you can still remote print with that.
See, that's actually really good then.
Yeah, because that's the main thing, is that like, where I'm thinking of putting it is in the basement. So like, if I just want to start a print, I don't want to have to get up and go to the basement.
Yeah, you need the remote print for that.
Because otherwise I have to figure out how it can stay in my office, which I mean, right now it's the shelf that my router is on, so it is in the office. Anyway, we've got through one tweet in half an hour.
We did. Go us.
And it's Chuckles again for the next one.
Oh boy.
So he says, Vice President J.D. Vance to young Marines at Quantico. So technically it's a J.D. Vance tweet as repeated by Charlie Kirk. He says, we don't care who you are, where you came from. We don't care what skin color you are. We care about excellence and we care about patriotism. And if you are awesome and you are a patriotic young Marine, then we are going to do everything we can to make you the most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. As long as you're not gay or trans.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you actually do care about some aspects of them just a bit.
Yeah, like if you are actively taking down web pages for everyone who is black or a woman and actively trying to expel trans people from the military, then you can't say that you don't care about skin color or who you are or where you came from. Like, if you actually didn't care about that, you wouldn't be actively seeking to exclude them.
Yeah, at least there's not 14 American flags there.
Yeah. I mean, it's Charlie Kirk, so you know he wanted to. But, yeah. Colin Rugg says, a family member of mine sold their Tesla to protest Elon Musk, so I decided to buy one to even things out. Imagine making a decision as important as what car you're going to buy just to own the libs. Reasons. Just to own the libs. Like, I can't imagine, like, and I get that, like, there's people that work in the factories or whatever, like, there can be a brand loyalty where it's like, I build GM, so I buy GM sort of thing. And I kind of get that. That actually makes a little bit of sense. But, like, it was just like, oh, someone I know protested Elon Musk by getting rid of their Tesla, so I bought a Tesla. Like, that just screams. It
makes you sound like an idiot.
Yeah, no, like, that's not how you buy a car. Like, did you kick the tires first? No.
You just bought it to own the
What does kicking the tires do? I don't fucking know, but it's something you're supposed to do when you buy a car. But that's the thing, like I bought a Hyundai. You know why I bought a Hyundai? Because I have experience with Hyundais, and they have every Hyundai I've owned, which granted was only 2 before this one, but like both of them were extremely reliable cars that were in the shop, very minimal, and they were both fun to drive. If Hyundai didn't have a car I liked, I probably would have gone to Nissan, because that was the other car. Like the last car I got before I got my previous Hyundai was a Nissan, and it was a little beater car. I paid $1,000 for it. Like, my intention was, I just need a car to get me through this year, and then I will drive it into the ground, and when it finally dies, I will replace it with something hopefully better. But that thing lasted me 4 years, and the only thing it ever went to the shop for is it had rusty brake lines. Aside from that, it was just normal oil changes. And it was like, it was a 10-year-old car. It came with a dead spider trapped in the dashboard. That was there when I got it. It was there when I got rid of it. I named it Frank. And it was just, like, it was not a particularly nice car. It wasn't a fun car to drive, but it worked, and it's kept working. And as long as I just kept doing oil changes, it just didn't need any maintenance. So it was like, yeah, no. And that's my experience. Now, I get that personal experience is not necessarily universal. Like, I hear there are people that like Chryslers. My experience with Chrysler is that I bought one brand new, and it was in the shop more often than my $1,000 beater car.
My experience has been, I don't have a particular set of experiences with vehicles other than don't have a Volkswagen if you're in America, because it sucks to repair them. That's really all I've got. It's not that it was a bad vehicle, it's that repairing it costed more dollars than I could handle.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, if you're worried about repairs, I think Hondas are the cheapest. I drive an 18-year-old Nissan. It's a stick, never broken down. Yeah, you probably got my car after I sold it. It would be about that old right now. So Does it have a spider in the dashboard? But yeah, no, so that's how I would buy a car. Like, these are the brands that I have good experiences with. GM was okay.
Lady Badass says, I don't have a Volkswagen in general because Nazi car. Is that really a fair criticism of them in 2025?
I mean, if we're going that way, buy the Citroen, because they messed with the dipsticks.
Like that's a good reason not to buy a Ford too, because Henry Ford was in fact in everything but political affiliation a Nazi.
Well,
like,
I mean, he was a Nazi before the Nazis.
Yeah. Like, I'm not 100% certain if that's like a fair assertion anymore when it comes to various people, or not, for like various distributors.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tesla's got a lot of work to do if they want to recover their brand.
Hey, we can shut the entire factory down. Fuck it.
Some things are better to just burn down. Metaphorically, that was a metaphoric YouTube.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. That means Mark Zuckerberg can get it too.
My mom was a hardcore Toyota fan. Yeah, I've never had a bad experience with a Toyota.
Badass says, I don't buy Ford either. That's a dodge of the point. I used Ford as an example. I used Ford as another example
because Ford was a Nazi, basically.
Yeah, because Ford was a Nazi. But like the question
he was
not
a proto-Nazi. I think we should.
The question was not the whataboutism of, so you won't buy a Ford. Like, I'm not that fucking stupid. My question was, do you feel like that's a fair assumption?
I feel like Tesla is the modern equivalent of the Volkswagen.
I can agree with that very, very much.
But I mean, to be fair, like, the reason Volkswagen is called Volkswagen is because like that the what became the Nazi movement kind of coagulated out of disparate individual movements that were referred to as Volkish in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in the book that I'm reading right now, Gay Berlin, it's going into the history of that. There was actually a gay rights segment of the Volkish movement that were gay rights activists that saw gay men as being like the epitome of masculinity. Like
Bragwin says Volk equals folk, and that's the reason why the white nationalist subset of pay. Well, I was gonna say there's another side of this. This is a part of, so like, Ocean's a very good friend of mine, and one of the things that he did a ton of research into was called folkism, and it is the modern day pagan Nazi movement.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. I had a friend who history on this friend. We met in World of Warcraft when I was like 14 years old. And we maintained a friendship all the way until a few years ago. And we're still friends, we just don't talk all that much. And I found out that she had fallen into a folkish cult and did not recognize that it was a Nazi cult.
Mm.
Like, did not have any idea that it was. And to show her that it was a Nazi cult, we did things like, grabbed the memes that were being posted by the leader of the cult and showing, like, man, this is saying Aryan a whole lot. I wonder why it's doing that. So luckily she ended up leaving that cult. But, like, it's interesting to me to hear that now, knowing, like, oh, yeah, this is stuff that Ocean researched a bunch of and gave me a bunch of information on years ago because a friend fell into that fucking cult.
Yeah. And, yeah, it has its roots going back to pre-Nazi Germany, when, the Volkish gay rights movement was, like, very much aligned with the Nazi ideals. Like, they not only are, like, men the most masculine when they're having sex with other men, but also Germans are the best men, and Jews kind of suck. And yeah, that story ends with the leopards eating their faces. Anyway, moving on. Oh, this was just Chef's Kiss. Mwah. Did you see this one?
No, because I'm not on Twitter anymore.
So Elon Musk posted this picture. The grave is for the Department of Education, but if we look closely here, zoom in.
Department.
So
Department.
So when you're posting the meme celebrating the elimination of the Department of Education, you should at least make sure you're spelling things correctly. Like, that just, it's perfect. It's no notes. I can't add to this. It's just funny on its own.
Yeah, it's you've already shown exactly why you need a DOE.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah. No, yeah. Sam Brenna says Vote clubs are big in South Africa among the Afrikaans people, and Elon is Afrikaans. Yeah, did you see the interview with Elon Musk's dad where he's like, oh, no, he couldn't be racist. He was sometimes friends with our black slaves. I mean, servants.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then Louisiana also misspelt Louisiana on their seal recently. That happened as well. They called it Louis Nana.
Man.
And then Elon Musk again says, daily abuse of authority by the federal judiciary, acting in stark contrast to the will of the people, is severely eroding their credibility in the eyes of the public. Once gone, it's never coming back. Abuse of judicial authority must stop, he says, well after the Supreme Court has already ruined their credibility.
Like, yes, the Supreme Court ruined their credibility, but they ruined it because of what Trump did to the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. On top of, not just Trump, also fucking... I can't remember his name. The dying turtle.
McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. There we go. But
guy who answers reporter questions with "my hearing's not what it used to be."
This is also on the back of. Have you seen what Mike Johnson has been saying about the district judges?
No.
So Majority Speaker Mike Johnson is currently wanting to remove several district judges so that we only have a Supreme Court, effectively.
Okay. That sounds about right. Olivia Williams says, Musk also supports apartheid groups. Like and share. Don't like and share the apartheid groups.
Nexus Rat, thank you for the follow.
I know, Olivia. I know what you're trying to... You're trying to trick me into telling people to like and share my video. But I won't do it. Yeah, anyway, it's just... It's peak irony or hypocrisy, one or the other, of these people like ruining the credibility of the Supreme Court and then being like, oh, the lower courts disagree with us sometimes, therefore they're ruining their credibility. It's like, no, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, if anything, they're retaining their credibility by stopping you from being able to do your fucking chainsaw bullshit.
We're just trying to make the government more efficient, don't you see?
Yeah, by firing people for a month and then rehiring them and then having to pay them back pay for work that they didn't do. So you end up paying the same amount of money and getting less work out of it. Oh, but that's the judge's fault. That's efficient.
But that's the judge's fault.
No,
that's their fault.
Yep. No, if they had fired them correctly and used the proper channels, then they wouldn't have need to go to court for it. So, yeah, no, it's just the height of irony. Eric Dougherty says, breaking, Mike Waltz announces that he spoke with Elon Musk and said tech experts are going to figure out how the Atlantic's Jeff Goldberg got into the Signal chat. I can tell you for 100%, I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone. So
this is just the hot dog guy trying to say, we are definitely looking for the person who crashed the hot dog mobile into the storefront.
Well, so what I find interesting here is that instead of just being like, whoops, I added him by mistake, or even just like, yeah, he's in my contacts, but no, I didn't add him to the group. I'm not sure how that happened. Even that, he's going all the way and being like, I don't know the guy. I've never talked to him. I don't have his number. I don't know why I would have his number. I've never talked to the... What this says to me is that Mike Waltz is a leaker. He's got key people from the press in his phone, ready to text them juicy details.
Oh, yeah, and apparently he was found to have a bunch of journalists on his Venmo account.
Oh, is that... I saw something about Venmo, but I didn't read that article, so...
So it's just him! It's just him!
Yeah, so is like, and I am skeptical that he would be a leaker for principle. I feel like this is more
For money.
he's trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's for money.
And he's on the verge of getting caught, and he's trying to cover his ass by being like, oh no, he must have hacked his way into the group. I don't know how that happened. I don't have him on my phone. So I feel like Mike Waltz is a hacker, is a leaker.
I think he's a hack.
He is a hack, yeah.
I'm fairly certain he's just a hack.
Yeah. So, but he has to explain how, because it's very clear that he is the one that added him. Okay. Gonna be a wizard.
You're a wizard, Rhino.
No, stop quoting that woman. There's better fiction.
There is better fiction, but I can't help the fact that I actually like that fiction.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the movies. The books have gotten to the point where I see too many of the plot holes because I'm a sucker for J.K. Rowling dunking. So anytime any video essayist makes a video about the plot holes in Harry Potter or whatever, I watch it.
Like I find that she is a piece of shit, and her work is very, very derivative of a bunch of other better works. Mm-hmm. However, I also can't deny the fact that I find reading those books to be very, very fun, and I probably read through all 7 of them once every 2-ish years. Like, it is, I have a list of books that I read in rotation along with new books that I read, and it's like the Harry Potter series, the Darth Bane trilogy, and the Hunger Games are very much part of that rotation.
Okay, I think we're starting on the So when are you getting assessed for autism?
Very good question.
Because I know we've pretty much confirmed the ADHD unofficially.
I actually have talked to I've scheduled an appointment with my primary care physician in order to start the process of getting an ADHD diagnosis, or at least doing the test that will be required for that. Mm-hmm. I'm unfamiliar with all of what goes on in that, not my area of expertise, but I guess I'll find out more once I go in for that, since I have medical insurance finally. So we'll see how that goes. No idea on the autism front, but again, I
feel like if you've got your 3 series of books that you read in rotation, I feel like that might be a warning sign.
Should I also talk about the video games that I play on yearly rotation? Because it's Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Paper Mario, Banjo-Kazooie, and any Pokemon game, just any old school Pokemon game, it'll be one of them.
Because they're all the same game.
To a very large degree, yes.
Well, Pokemon Snap is different.
And both Pokemon Snaps are fantastic.
And I got mad at Pokemon Snap because I was trying to take pictures that actually looked good, mm-hmm. which means I was using the rule of thirds, and it was like, oh, the Pokemon's not right in the dead center of the thing, so you lose points. I'm like, yeah, but the picture looks better, so fuck you.
Yeah, that's why you just save that one in your album so you can keep it, and then you take it to a kiosk and get it printed out so you have it.
But I don't want to save it. I want the game to tell me that I took a good picture so that I can move on to the next thing.
Well, that's entirely fair. I don't
need the picture for myself because it's just a fucking video game. I've never understood the take a selfie button or whatever that they have in some games.
I mean, I guess
I get it. If you're going to spend money on a skin, then that's the only time you're going to see it. You may as well use it. But
I will say that I understand it a lot as somebody who, growing up, really wanted a lot of my digital experiences to be transposed into reality. So I grew up having Pokemon Snap, and there was a kiosk for Pokemon Snap at my local Blockbuster, which dates me, I know, but playing Pokemon Snap on the N64 also dates me. So, and the thing you do with the kiosk is you would take your cart, and you would plug it in, and then you could go from your album that you save in that game and print any of those pictures out for a small fee. It was like $1 per picture or something.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, not only is that a thing, but that kiosk is now a very expensive collectible. Now you're looking up Pokemon Snap Kiosk.
No, I'm not.
He says. But so I liked having those pictures of things I could hang up around my room, because as far as I was concerned, the experiences that I had in that game were as fun and as real as any experience that I was having out in reality, just like taking a picture of a fun event that you went to with a bunch of friends. To expound on that a tiny bit, for a game like World of Warcraft, there's a snapshot feature in there as well. And a lot of times, me and my friends will do snapshots of, hey, here's an event that we all did together, and here's all of us posing for the thing in the event. And it to me, it happening in a digital landscape versus it happening in a real landscape, there's not too much of a difference there. Like, that avatar is as much me as me.
Suris, we're taking a pause from the tweets.
Sure.
We are both doing an assessment for autism right now.
We're doing an assessment for autism right now?
Yeah, so
okay.
Open up a notepad so you can keep track of your answers.
Sure thing. Let's find out autism together.
All right, so you can all of these questions are either definitely agree, slightly disagree, or definitely disagree.
Are you sure Notepad's going to be good for this, or
maybe a spreadsheet? I don't know. I'm using Notepad because I use Notepad for everything. Okay. I often notice small sounds when others do not.
Yeah.
Okay. I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than the small details.
It depends on what we're talking about.
Okay. My partner has informed me in the past that is a very autistic answer to some of these questions.
God damn it!
Is the autism thing is like, it's not like, it's not a universal. I need more details. I need to understand the exact context that everything's in. Whatever.
Yeah, I need that as well. Like,
I gave myself a slight disagree because I usually focus very much on what small detail, like the small details that we are getting into right now, of like, what is the context that we are worried about small details on? Am I taking a picture in Pokemon Snap and I want it to look like a good picture, or do I want it in the middle so it gets a higher score?
Are we small detailsing the small details? Is that what's happening?
That's what's happening. So I did a slight disagree because it depends on the context, and I usually like the details. I find it easy to do more than one thing at once.
I find that I almost always have to do more than one thing at once.
Okay. If there is an interruption, I can switch back to what I was doing very quickly.
No, you break me away from the task and I get angry.
Me too. I find it easy to read between the lines when someone is talking to me.
No, generally speaking, I'm like, okay, cool, I need you to mean the words you say.
Yeah, so this is one that I would have agreed originally, but then my partner kept pointing out instances of me not doing that. I was like, okay, maybe. So 6. I know how to tell if someone is listening to me or is getting bored. I say as we take time out of our normal show to do an autism assessment.
Kinda. I think it's more that I just don't care. Like, if I'm talking about something that I really like, that's what I'm doing. And you can get me to stop, but like, whether or not you're listening isn't my main concern. you can click off the video. That's a thing you can do.
There is a clip in the archives of Suris talking at length about something that I was not interested in, to where I like leaned back and put my hat over my face, and he just kept going and kept going.
I forgot there was an actual example of me doing that.
Yeah, no, and chat was like, Rhino, you're being rude. I'm like, social cues, what are those?
I'm just like, I also don't care that he's doing that. I'm gonna keep going.
When I'm reading a story, I find it difficulty to work out the character's intentions.
No, that one's pretty easy. If I'm reading the story, I've got a lot of information to work with, and that's what I need to go with.
Okay. Question 8. I like to collect information about categories of things, e.g. types of cars, types of bird, types of brains, type of Magic the Gathering cards.
Yes. I can tell you how to put together a Monster Hunter set that ruins the lives of the thing you're hunting as well. I can also tell you the frame data on the knives in Resident Evil.
Question 9. I find it easy to work out what someone is thinking or feeling just by looking at their face.
No, not really.
And 10. I find it difficult to work out people's intentions.
It depends.
Okay. So, did you keep track of what number the questions were?
I did not at all.
Oh, fuck you. Did you keep track of anything?
No, but send me if it's 10 questions, I can just put in the answers on my own. You could have just sent me the thing.
God damn it. Yeah, but no, we're doing it together.
Yeah, and I can just it will take me 10 seconds. The thing that is taking time is you sending me a link.
No, the thing that I'm trying to tabulate my own score here, and you're delaying me because you weren't doing it properly.
I didn't realize this was a fucking PDF. I didn't know this was a PDF.
Yeah, I told you to keep track.
I didn't know the why. Oh my god. Okay.
My partner just popped in to say because your ADHD got bored.
Hey.
Okay. So if you score 1 point for definitely or slightly agree on each of items 1, 7, 8, and 10. So that's agree or slightly agree. So it's 1, 7, 8, and 10.
Score 1 point for definitely or slightly agree on each of the items.
1, 7, 8, and 10.
1, 7,
Shut
8,
up.
10.
I'm reading.
Why is it so specific on this? What?
Because some of them are if you agree you're autistic, if you disagree you're normie, and some of them are flipped, and they didn't want you to know which ones are flipped before you read to the bottom.
Okay, hold on. I gotta figure this sec.
Yeah, that's why I was telling you to keep fucking track of it. And then score 1 point for definitely or slightly disagree on items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. So for every disagree, I get a point. So 2, 3.
Okay,
5,
so
6. Oh my god. If you score 6 or above, so this is just a preliminary test. If you score 6 or above, you get considered for referral for autism diagnosis. I scored 8.
hold on. Score 1 point or definitely or slightly agree on each items. 2 for definitely or slightly agree on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
People
and 9.
in the YouTube chat are asking for the link, so here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slightly agree on each of the items. Okay, for definitely or slightly disagree. My brain was reading it as definitely or slightly agree for both of them, and I was like, why is this segmented? Okay. 1 and then 7.
Yeah, so this is not the full test. This is not, oh, I definitely have autism because I scored an 8. This is, the doctor would say, okay, I'll refer you to the person that can actually diagnose you.
8, 1, and 10 is, I find it difficult to work out.
Alex Merkel says, 1 eternity later.
Yep, and it's gonna be that. I apologize. I got roped into this. This is not my fault.
If only you had kept track like I told you.
Shoosh. Okay, definitely slightly disagree gives you the one in here. Usually concentrate on more than the old picture rather than the small details. It depends. I don't know what to put here because it depends.
Does it depend more often you do it or more often you don't do it?
I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than the small details. It depends on what it is. Like if we're talking about character motivations.
The fact that you're picking the small details for this question says that I would say that's an agree.
So I do care about the small details.
You do care about the small details more than the overall.
Okay.
Whether it's slightly or not, I don't know. I'll let you make that decision, but it's 1 point either way.
I find it easy to do more than one thing at once. I don't find it easy to. I find it generally necessary to. if there is a
So
interruption, I can switch back.
The best part about this is I didn't scroll down far enough on the original page. So there's a non-PDF version where you can just like pick the button, the little radio buttons, and it'll total it for you.
God fucking damn it. Anyway, let's see here. I know how to tell if someone's listening to me if they're bored. Yeah, I know how to tell. I just don't give a shit. Like, if they put a hat over their eyes and start snoring, they've probably stopped caring. And it easy to work out what somebody's thinking or feeling just by looking at their face. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have exactly 6.
You have exactly 6, so that's
exactly
a referral
6.
For more. I had 8. So we both get referred for further testing.
Okay, that's fair enough, I guess.
Okay. Should we get back on track?
I don't know. I don't find it easy to get back on tasks.
This autism diagnosis is brought to you by ADHD.
Anyway, I guess I think this one's being handled by Kayla. Just that I guess this autism diagnosis is its own video. Okay, cut it away.
Yep, there we go.
I don't know.
Piper, same.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth says, so let me get this straight. The Atlantic released the so-called war plans. They were actual war plans. We saw the screenshots. And those plans include no names, no targets, no locations, no units, no routes, no sources, no methods, and no classification. Okay, I'd say...
they definitely did include some of those things in the final versions of
like methods
stuff.
Is like they said tomahawks. That's missile. That's a method, is it not?
Yeah.
F-18s were mentioned specifically. That is a method, is it not? No routes, but routes could be figured out from knowing that this, because the target was, like he says, no location, no targets. No, the targets were very much known, and especially like if you were one of the people that was like involved in that, and you saw the thing about how like, oh no, he just walked into his girlfriend's house, and you're like, oh, I just walked into my girlfriend's house. Maybe we should leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he says those are some really shitty war plans. I mean, if you're making shitty war plans, maybe you shouldn't be the Department of Defense guy.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, because like like these text messages have been validated by what was it, National Security Council or whatever. It's the screenshots are authentic. They have been validated by people that would have been served better to say no, they are fake. So the fact that they are valid and he's saying they're shitty war plans is like, okay, well, you were making, like, they were your war plans. This only proves one thing. Jeff Goldberg has never seen a war plan or an attack plan, as he now calls it. Not even close. I don't think Hegseth has seen one, which is actually concerning given his position.
Yeah.
FedEx says, LOL, I got a 10. Then, as I type this, my team and I are traveling to the Indo-PACOM region, meeting with commanders, the guys who make real war plans, and talking to the troops. We will continue to do our job while the media does what it does best, peddle hoaxes. It's not a hoax. It was verified by your guys.
It's a thing that happened. You have to call it a hoax to protect your ass. But, like, I don't think you're the best judge of what a hoax is anymore.
No. Oh, yeah. So the next
content warning!
The next one I'm issuing a content warning for. It is not terribly graphic, but it is close enough to graphic that if it just came up out of nowhere, it might be surprising. It looks like a person has just shot another person in the head. It is not a real person. It's a dummy. But I didn't want to just spring that on y'all without the warning. So Valentina Gomez says, this is cheaper than deportation. So now I will acknowledge that, like, ordinarily my policy here is that I only show tweets, or I only show screenshots that I took myself, because a lot of times it can be too hard to validate screenshots you get from elsewhere. But this is one that, like, it was being reported on by credible news outlets, and it got deleted after this for what I hope are obvious reasons. No, that's not the puppy killer.
No, so Valentina Gomez,
she is currently running. She didn't actually win like the puppy killer did.
No, she runs all the time. That's her thing. She's been running for political office and failing at it for years, and her campaign has always been the same: Republican shock humor. That's been her thing for ages. Is like, be a shock jock that says things to piss off liberals. That has been her shtick, and she has never swayed from it.
Yeah, but in the current climate, I'm worried that she might win this time.
Who knows?
So yeah, these are the people on the right. Like, yeah, sure, she's doing it for the reaction, and yeah, I'm kind of giving in by giving her the reaction, but if you're a piece of shit, I'm going to show the world that you're a piece of shit.
Bragwin says she's built like Caitlyn Bennett, so only useful for rocketing out sharts. Please don't tell me I have to explain this one.
No, I know who Caitlyn Bennett is. I know what she's known for.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay, moving on. William Wolf says Secretary of Defense puts on a masterclass on how to deal with the regime media propagandists like Jeffrey Goldberg. So you're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who has made a profession of peddling hoaxes. I voted for this. So he posted this along with the video of Hegseth drunkenly being like, no, it didn't happen, when it had already been validated that it was real. So
William Wolf, you did vote for this. You're right. You're also a moron.
Yeah, you voted for an idiot liar who can't doesn't know how to do his job. Like, everybody's been making the joke, so I haven't, but like, it's worth saying he's a DUI hire.
God damn it.
Have you not heard that one?
It's not that I haven't heard it, it's that it's still funny.
Okay, that's fair.
Lady Badass says regime media, you mean Fox? I mean, considering that Fox News was literally built only to be an antithesis to CNN and MSNBC. That was the foundation of Fox, was to give an alternative, even if CNN and MSNBC were telling the truth. It was to give an alternative spin on it. That's been the ethos for since its inception.
Yeah. Yep. But what just boggles the mind here is, like, this whole security breach thing that's unprecedented in all of American history, literally caused by reverse DEI. Like, they get into the office, they're like, hey, we're going to get rid of DEI, so we're going to fire all the black people and replace them with mediocre white men. And then the mediocre white men fuck up their jobs.
Do this.
And I've been slurring a lot today. I promise you there is no alcohol in this. This is just water. I'm just tired. But like, I'm hearing my words slur and I'm like, oh, they're going to think that I'm drinking.
I didn't realize how tired I was today. And then I realized that I woke up 4 hours late from everything I did yesterday. I'm surprised I'm not slurring more words right now.
Better not be having a stroke. No, I'm just tired.
Nah, Bames John having a strong calm the ambulance.
Sure. Oh, that was the last one. Okay. We are done.
Department under the influence.
All right. Are you still streaming after this one?
I think due to time constraints, after this, I'm hopping off and then trying to get my gym time in.
Okay. Well, Jake is streaming, so I will raid Jake.
Let's go bug Jake then.
Okay. As always, fuck off.